There are practical hidden gifts in discomfort, and we've touched on some of them, like confidence. You can learn to do hard things.
Oof, this one gives me a stomach ache. Okay, it's your birthday. Not sure what we mean? Let us introduce you to our powerful concept and our community. We are Helene and Christina, and our mission is to empower, teach, and remind women to celebrate themselves. Combined, we have over 35 years' experience as therapists in private practice. We come to you not as your therapist, but rather two women in this life stage with you, your friends. Our podcast promises to talk about the hard or uncomfortable topics in a way to empower you, laugh along the way as part of healing, and find joy in life. What sets us apart? We leave you with gifts each and every episode. Okay, now that we are friends, let's go ahead and make this official. We would love to help you start your Thursday mornings, so make sure you follow the show wherever you listen. If it's Apple, if it's Spotify, iHeart, wherever you are hanging out, come find us and sign up for our free newsletter at yourbirthdaypodcast.com to receive our episode in your inbox weekly.
Welcome back to the It's Your Birthday podcast, where we unwrap life's gifts, one layer at a time. Now, some of those gifts, they're wrapped in sparkly paper with bows and confetti. And at other times, they may come in a brown, plain box. Handle with care, it might even say on it. But today's episode, it's exactly kind of one of those. Remember, Christina just said the title, and she was like, oh, I have a stomach ache. So we are going to dive into the gift of discomfort. Now, we get it. Discomfort doesn't exactly sound like something you'd want to unwrap. Most of us spend our lives trying to avoid it. We crave comfort, predictability, ease. Me, for sure. But what if discomfort isn't something to fear? What if it's actually the birthplace of your confidence, your strength, and your next chapter? And that's what we're going to explore today, friends. So take a deep breath, get cozy. Christina and I have our warm drinks, and let's get a little uncomfortable together. I think we probably need to start off with, what is discomfort? Really?
You know what? I think it's different for everybody, right? Like, different things make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like seriously a pit in my stomach and I want to throw up.
Oof.
Sometimes it's a headache.
Mm.
Sometimes it's just feeling the pressure of the world on me. Like, I don't know. Like, when the weather's like changing and you feel just like the pressure of the air?
Yes.
Sometimes it can feel like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like the fear of the unknown, like what's going to happen, right? Like, I think we're having a lot of discomfort, at least in the US, like politically, we're just so divided. And so, like, there's a lot of discomfort and there's a lot of fear. It's usually fear-based, I think, but it can be just sadness. It could be like really anything that's just kind of out of the norm that makes you uncomfortable, I think.
I agree. And I think also the word discomfort like sends out that signal of like, stop, don't do it, avoid it.
Yeah.
And I go back to, kind of that phrase that someone once said to me, like, let's not sprinkle sugar on shit. So this is definitely going to feel like I'm sprinkling sugar on shit. But what if we thought of discomfort is that like we're simply just stretching, right? We don't have to think about it in black and white terms. Like we're really uncomfortable and then we're like, hell yeah, comfortable. There's, again, 50 shades of gray in between for a reason. So discomfort can really just be stretching a little bit. And it doesn't have to be big, like I just said. It could just be walking into a room when you don't know anyone. It could be when you're at a class or at a conference and you have something to say, but that discomfort is like trying to get your hand to go down, but you really want to raise it up. It could be saying no. Like when we started this, you're like, Liam, I got to go back to listening to the episode of like the gift of saying no. So saying no can be uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I think for a lot of us women, it's the fear of disappointing others, which, we talk about we kind of sprinkle it in every episode. Like, we need to freaking get rid of that. I was reading, oh my gosh, I was reading the most amazing article this morning. And a clinical psychologist said, and I wish I knew their name, but I don't because I was reading it at 4:30 this morning. But anyway, they said how the number one sign of trauma is somebody trying to get somebody to like them that doesn't like them. And I was like,
Ugh.
"Ugh." Right? That just like brought me back
Wow.
to high school, Miss Steggy, my guidance counselor, saying to me, "Do you think everybody in this world can like you?" And I was like, "I'll try." And she was like,
Yeah.
"No."
Right.
And that led me on a huge path of growth of like, now I testify in court and I piss people off all the time. And
Right.
that's how I get really terrible Google reviews in Florida because my job is to walk right in the middle of discomfort
Right.
and find solutions.
And I think the thing about discomfort is that as you're listening to this and it's bringing that I don't know, I guess I challenge it because I'm sure you do it every day. And maybe
Everybody
you
does.
don't, but you don't think about it as being
No.
discomfort. You don't stop and have that awareness. So we do it, but when we pose it as an idea of doing something really uncomfortable, that's where the comes up.
I have discomfort every time my dogs poop on a walk because they pooped in, somebody's, like, I'm really
Ah,
anal about it that they'd only poop in the easement, like, I'm super anal,
right.
but I feel, like, super uncomfortable, and I'm, like, grabbing my bag and, like, picking it up as quick as I can and hoping that people don't see. Like, that causes me discomfort.
Right, which goes back to, like, the space of them going to the bathroom, and then what would happen if someone saw it's that space in between that's the discomfort, and that's the part that we're challenging because a lot of times, I think when you know what is that space and what the discomfort is, you can be empowered to figure out how you want to be with it, right? Because I think you would just take a deep breath, knowing you, and say, "Hey, Mr. Smith, I know dogs have to do their thing. I've got my bags. I'm totally taking care of it." Like
Yeah,
you would actually, you would own it and offer an apology and say, "I got it taken care of." So it's almost like if you think about what's uncomfortable and then what's on the other side of it, and then when you can work what's in between, you have influence on how to make
yeah.
it better for yourself.
Or, I mean, I tell people too, like, all the time, the scariest part of therapy, honestly, is
Mhm.
walking into the therapist door for the first time. Like, it is so freaking scary to
Yeah.
walk in and meet somebody new, and I don't downplay it.
No.
The second somebody sits on my couch, I'm like, "You did, like, the bravest step. You came here today."
Yeah.
And, like, instantly, there's, like, this sense of, like, "I'm okay." Like, that's so scary to trust
It
somebody you don't
is.
freaking know.
Right.
Like, people might have said good. People, you checked out the Google reviews, you checked out the Facebook groups, like, whatever it may be, and now you're, like, going and trusting somebody with your very vulnerable life story. I mean, that is so uncomfortable. For me, I've
Yeah.
been testifying in court now for, gosh, 20 years. Holy crap, I've been testifying in court 20 years
Mm.
because I started testifying before I was even licensed. That's insane. Thank you, Fort Myers, for trusting me. But yeah, I mean, and I still get discomfort. Like, I
Right.
was down this week to testify in a trial, and like Sunday night, I was itchy and awkward at the
Mhm.
thought of it. So it can happen, or maybe you have discomfort over like applying for a job that you have in your head that you're not qualified enough for. And Helene and I have told you over and over again, like, we believe you're overqualified. So apply for that damn job.
Yes.
Right? Or, maybe there's discomfort with the holidays coming up and having to set boundaries
Yeah.
of like what you're going to buy. I mean, one of my family members got the Target cut, the big layoff cut. And so, like, we all know I'm brutally blunt. And I called him and said, "Hey, I mean, I've been pushing for a while, like, no holiday gifts because none of us need
Yeah.
anything. But I
Yeah.
was like, this year, particularly, like, no holiday gifts. You are not allowed to bring a single thing for my children. Like,
Right.
no, 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 no." And they got an awesome severance package,
Right.
but, like, I just nailed it, you know?
And Yeah, and I think the thing that often that we are uncomfortable about, like, if you take a moment to sit and pause,
Yeah.
you not only have influence, it's your choice. Like, I tell people similar, like, when they come in the office, like, take a deep breath, like, you have done the biggest, bravest thing and just coming here, and you're also we both have a voice in this. We're gonna
Yeah.
spend some time together. You're gonna listen to your body if this isn't a good fit or if you want something different, and I'm gonna listen and tell you if I don't think I can help you. If you want to apply for a job, you are applying for the job. So there is goes back to like some agency when you're going towards something that's uncomfortable. So I think a question that Christine and I are really wanting you to think about as we continue with this podcast episode is where in your life have you been avoiding discomfort? And
Mm.
it could be things like Christina shared. Is it a conversation you're putting off? And if it is, use Christina, what she just said as an example. She just went to a family member, and if they were potentially uncomfortable about the holidays, she just came right in and said what she was accepting or not accepting. Are you maybe avoiding a change that you need to make? Is there
Mm.
a dream that scares you because it's bigger than the current version of yourself? That's the discomfort that we're referring to. So take a moment, even if you put us on pause, to think about that.
I think, this like goes right back to the gift of finding yourself with
Uh-huh.
Melissa Brosman Rosenblum, right? Like,
Yes.
if you need to make a major change in your life, like you need to change a job, maybe your partner's not right, maybe your kid's school isn't right, maybe, you're not living in the right house, you're not living in the right neighborhood, maybe your bills are too high for where you're living. Like,
Right.
it's incredible. I have a super good friend that I just had lunch with when I was in Fort Myers, and
Mhm.
they made a dramatic change in their life, right? Like left a super toxic marriage, like ugh, gross toxic marriage. They have children and they did it and they came out and they're with an incredible life partner and the dynamic between them is just powerful. It's just, like I saw them, I hadn't seen them in a while, and I was like, I said to my friend, I said, "You look fucking amazing." Like, those were my words to her. I said, "You look fucking amazing." Like, I have known you for 20 plus years, and I've
Wow.
never seen you look so good in my
And
entire
that's
life.
what I mean when you have that thing that maybe you're afraid of, but when you get to the other side of it, it goes back to if you're living in the messy middle and that's the discomfort, if you allow yourself to picture what could be on the other side of that place of stretching or discomfort, can be
Mhm.
beauty, could be really owning who you are. We're
Yeah.
just talking about getting through. I guess this is really just the messy middle in a way too.
It is. It totally is.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say, like, I'm not gonna share everything of her story because that's her story. But I will say, like, does she still have moments of discomfort? 200% she does. But is she living her best? Yes. And she's working through
Oh,
those discomforts.
so say that again. Discomfort. Say that again.
Does she still have moments of discomfort? Yes. But is she also living her best version of herself? Yes. So I think, when I listened to her story, she got through really big discomfort, which was getting out of a toxic relationship.
Right.
She then moved on to getting into a healthier relationship after she did a ton of self work that she needed to do with herself, her therapist, all that. And then she got into a healthier relationship that still has some discomfort. Like there's still, they're navigating, learning, figuring each other out because that's dating and getting to know each other.
Right.
And also having really uncomfortable conversations about learning about each other. Like that's what dating is. Dating shouldn't be just roses and
Mhm.
glitter and happiness. Like there should be some discomfort to it. Like these are the things I like, these are the things I don't like. These are my I cannot tolerate. These are my hey, I can adjust here. You know, those
And
kind of
that's why I think you should always date in your relationships
yeah,
because you're going to change and your partner is going to grow and change.
100%.
And I think the great thing that you're telling us is that I guess the purpose of discomfort, like discomfort is not to punish us, it's
Yeah.
truly to prepare us.
to help us grow. Discomfort equals growth, right?
Mm,
Like
that's
every
powerful.
time I'm uncomfortable, even, you know what? Like I said, I've been testifying for 20 years. Every time I get on that witness stand, I learn something new. Every time.
Mhm. Right.
Every time. It's not an old hat for me. And the second I don't come in with the anticipation of learning and growth or not expect or, expecting myself to know everything,
Sure.
I got to get off the witness stand because I
Right.
am an ethical nightmare in that moment. No, like I am always learning. Every case teaches me something, every client teaches me something, you know,
Mhm.
every interaction with our kids teach us something. Are you kidding me? Like this is my first time raising a middle school kid. I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many times I get on here and I say to Helene, like, fuck am I doing? Right? Like, what do I know? And she's
Right.
like, "You got this. You've got this. She's totally my cheerleader.
And I think that's the thing that, like, helps me, like, I think I've told the story before when I was dropping my son off and, my husband got there first and then he went back home 'cause he had to pick up my daughter at the time from school, and then I was leaving, and I remember, like, I had this, like, what I thought was gonna be this great scripted thing I was gonna say to him, and it just was so uncomfortable because I was being really vulnerable and leaving him, and it just landed fucking wrong. And, I mean, it was wrong in every sense. But in being uncomfortable came a new platform between our relationship that I could be uncomfortable, he could hear it, he could tell me what he needed, and I could try again. So there's always breakthroughs that could happen through the discomfort. It's just allowing yourself to, it's kind of like regulating the discomfort so you don't freeze or like leave. It's staying with it to see what's on the other side of it.
100%.
And I tell my kids all the time, and I tell my patients all the time, like, you're not supposed to know how to do this if you've never raised a teenager before. Like, I have never been the mom of a student I've never been the mom of someone who's doing this before. Like, this is my first time also, and I'm I love jumping off the parent pedestal. I remember exactly when I did it, and I think that just gave me a lot of space to be real, and it also allowed, like, my child at the time, who was looking up at me at the time because he was a lot younger, to be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "Look, like, I will fuck up 10,336 times, and I hope every time I show up to say I'm sorry, and I'll do better." So, I've never done this before, and I think that's the thing, like, you could be uncomfortable and say you've never done this before, and you wanna stay with it and grow from it so it can prepare you for the next time because like Chrissy and I are telling you,
Right.
it will happen again, and that's okay.
Yeah. Look at all the discomfort we've had to work through with just building this.
Yeah.
I mean, like, neither one of us knew what the fuck we were doing. We,
None.
we read some articles, we
Took
briefly
a
followed a
course.
course. Helene did way more of that than I did, truth. And I was like, "Oh, what'd you learn?" Like, I always wanted the Cliff Notes version. Helene was like, "I've got the in-depth version." She said
Like,
that.
I watched the videos, I took notes, like
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was like, "Give me Cliff Notes. What do I need to know?"
but you're comfortable with that, like
Yeah. No, I fly by the seat of my pants a lot.
yeah,
Won't
I
lie.
don't.
But yeah, I mean, and conversations too of like in a business relationship, what we like and did like. I mean, meeting with the attorney, that was like so. He's like, "What are you gonna do if this dissolves?" And we're
Mhm,
like, "Oh." Like we had to have the hard conversations and also like create boundaries because we are good friends, but
mhm,
we aren't total besties. Like
yep,
we aren't ride and die
yep,
because we had to create like we had to have the business dynamics to be able to talk about things that, maybe besties wouldn't talk about.
sure, yeah,
So I think it's hard, but it's good. Helene's
absolutely.
had to learn how to use tech to the best of her abilities. Which look at how uncomfortable it's already making her. If you're watching this, you should see her body language at the thought of like tech.
Well, I think also, like, the discomfort is Christina has to be really she doesn't have to, but she's very patient with me, and and it okay, now I'm going on a sidekick. Like,
Yeah,
when we interviewed my friend from high school and college, the one about, like, the gift of
travel.
travel,
Yeah, with Deborah.
and Deborah said, "Oh, yes, this whole tech thing," and I was like, "Oh, yes!" We graduated at the same time, and I keep using the fucking excuse, which I can't use, like, "Christina, there is an age difference between us." Christina's like, "Fuck that, you can't use it anymore," and I'm like, "I know." Believe me, my husband says the same thing. I mean, so anyway, yeah, we're learning, we're stretching, but back to what we're talking about. I mean, being uncomfortable has a gift inside of it, right?
It
Being
does.
uncomfortable, I'm learning things that I didn't know how to do, didn't wanna have to learn it, but I'm glad I am. I'm getting more comfortable with it, and I also get the experience of Christina trusting me more. Like, there was a time when you had to trust me to do some things with the newsletter, and I was like, "Oh my god," like, so there's things that happen in being uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
there's the gift inside of it. So, it doesn't have to be like that brown yucky bag. You can think of the brown bag with a bow on top of it, but it's getting inside of it, and it's really at times when you get through the discomfort, what you're saying to yourself is, "I've outgrown the version of me that was really uncomfortable." Like, getting
Mhm.
to the other side of it, like we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, honestly, one of the most uncomfortable things is meeting people outside of my office. Like, I love meeting new patients, I love meeting new
Right?
colleagues, like,
Okay.
but once I take my work hat off and I'm in
Oh,
personal life,
yes.
I, like, become the most socially awkward, reclusive weirdo. I literally do, I won't lie. Like,
I
it's
understand.
truth, it's total truth. So and I married, like, somebody who becomes friends with everybody. He knows, like, probably 80% of the people in our neighborhood.
Mhm.
He like, he's never met a stranger. My daughter's never met a stranger. My son is, like, becoming more like them, and then he's like, "You need to meet so and so," and I was like, "Do I?
Do I
Do
have
you
to?
really? Do you really?" I'm not good at it. I'm super weird. My best friends, if they were on here right now, would, like, literally be dying laughing because Ethan met them first and was, like, adamant, "I need to meet him," and, you know,
Right.
I've told the story about the shit I said, and they know it, like, they make fun of me, it's fine. But I don't meet new people. That's what I would say. And
Mhm.
yet we moved to Minnesota and,
Right.
like, I hadn't lived here in over 15 years. Like,
Mhm.
most of my friends had moved on with their life, and rightfully so. And I had moved on with my life, rightfully so. And I was living in a town that literally had one of my friends from when I lived here before. And, like, love her, we connect, but we also live very differently.
Yeah.
And so, like, we didn't have a ton in common.
Right.
And so, like, I was forced to meet people and make new friends. And I've done it, and I've made, like, some really awesome friends here, really awesome friends.
And
But
that's why I love, like,
it was really pushing myself.
yeah, it's pivotal, like, and it doesn't last forever.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But I really like, I remember when Julie would invite me to, like, events, and I was like, "Ugh, ugh,
Right.
do I have to?" And then I was like, "Christina, you have to. If you are going to establish a practice here, a business here, like,
Yeah.
create a life here, you have to." I remember going to PTO meetings, and I was like, "I don't wanna go to this." And I went, and I met really awesome people. Like,
Right.
yeah, you have to so if you're somebody like me that would just rather hide in your house, go walk your dogs with headphones on so nobody talks to you, like, I get you, friend. I totally understand you. I'm wrapping you in a big hug if you like it. If you don't like it, I didn't touch you. And, I just you gotta put your brave hat on. Discomfort requires you to be brave.
And I think when you do that, and let's sprinkle in some gifts now, because I think that's part of our jam. There are practical hidden gifts in discomfort. And we've touched on some of them, like confidence. You
Ugh,
can learn to do hard things.
yeah.
Like what you were afraid of, I go back to like that visual, right? Like where you were. And then if you think of like a rainbow to what you now can do or what you are experiencing, like, there's a learning curve from not knowing to having a knowing, even if it's not like a hell yeah knowing.
Mhm.
There's confidence and there's growth when you learn to do and you expose yourself to hard things.
Yeah. I think, again, we talk all the time about humans evolve.
Yeah.
And, as much as I hate snakes, if you hate snakes as much as me, I totally get you. But I think how they shed their skin and then a new version comes out. Or if you want a more beautiful one, butterflies, how they cocoon, like they go from a caterpillar to like being in that brown box, right? We'll
Right.
call it a cocoon. That's nothing pretty. It's pretty ugly. And then out of it comes this like beautiful miracle.
Right.
And slowly their wings flap, they gain confidence, and they've grown into a beautiful version of themselves. And it was through that discomfort of like eating too much as a caterpillar and then,
Yeah.
like creating this cocoon and sleeping in it for a while. For science teachers, I don't remember how long, that they literally transform and outgrow that version to become the beautiful new version of themselves. It gives you clarity.
It does. You and I think even from the first episode, we have really encouraged people to listen to their body. And sometimes with discomfort, you can get tremendous clarity. It often will reveal to you what truly matters, what aligns with your moral compass,
Yeah.
where you really want to give your energy, your
Mhm.
space, part of who you are. So allow yourself to be uncomfortable. The gift is that you can really gain clarity on who you are and what really matters to you.
Yeah. I remember, gosh, I had just launched my own private practice and I was seeing this like really amazing woman. And she said to me, she goes, "You're going to outgrow this."
Mhm.
I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, you're going to outgrow practicing here, doing exactly what you're doing."
Mhm.
And at the time, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. I'm passionate about it. How could she say that? Like, this sounds amazing.
Right,
I want to do this the rest of my life."
right.
But like, it kind of stuck in the back of my head. And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like very polite and very
Mm,
Minnesotan about it. And in my head, I was like, "No way. This is awesome."
yeah,
And now I look at like myself then compared to myself now, just in treating patients,
sure.
how much I've evolved.
Yeah,
Like in my practices, how much I've evolved. The fact that like I freaking own the co-working space. We launched this. I mean, if you had come to me then in
right.
2011 and said, "Let's launch this," I would have been like, "Oh no, I'm good. Thank you." And
Yeah,
now I'm like, when you came to me in what was it, 21 or 22, you're like, "Let's do this." I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do this. Like, let's make it happen."
yeah. So I love and part of it also has to do with timing, right? To have the courage, to have the clarity, to gain the confidence. And when I think about I don't know, the gift of being uncomfortable, like the other practical gift that you can get is courage. So I remember years ago, my husband, I love him. We were going to Montana and we were gonna go to Glacier Park, and he was in what we had, was like a gator room, of course, it's not anymore, but it was all decorated like gators, and he was watching on the big screen TV, like
Mm.
how you climbed up the mountain and then you went across, and I was like, just watching it, I was like freaking out. I'm like, "There's no way." I don't like heights, I'm a safety girl, like, I was like, "No way I can do that." And then again, kinda like if you've listened to us, like going whitewater rafting, like your kids will, at least for me, will often push me to be uncomfortable because I want them to see that I can have the courage and being uncomfortable and kind of model for them. So I did it, but I remember being like on the side of the mountain, like we went all the way up top. It was like, I don't know, like it was far. But then you had to go across like a water thing. And if you took a slip, like you were done. But I remember I needed to watch my kids go first because that gave me courage, and I also knew I had to, right? They made it through, they were okay, like, I need to be there for the rest of their life. So, you had to figure out what can give you the courage to do it and your why. Like, when you
Yeah.
figure out your why of why you want to expose yourself to be uncomfortable, you can gain clarity, confidence, courage, compassion. You
Mm.
can gain tremendous once you've been uncomfortable and you've gotten through that and you can identify and get in connection with it, you may meet other people who have been through it and you may show up in a different level of support and empathy because you can connect with that version of you. So
Yeah.
again, it goes back to our trickle effect. I think you
Yeah.
want to give them a challenge. You want to give us, we
Uh,
like giving challenges lately. Okay.
we do.
All right.
We're going to challenge you to initiate a tough conversation or try a new class or share a vulnerable story. And, I think back to like the first time I went to Pilates, I'm the most uncoordinated person. Okay. So the second they're having me put like these handle things on my feet, and I'm like, holy crap, can you fall in this thing? Like, what happens? But I did it. And friends, I didn't even fall. So that's what I would say. Like, you can do it. Or, when my husband and I had to talk about money, and I had so much shit that came from my childhood with money. And, my thought was like, I will make the money and I will avoid it. And, when it came to our accountants, like, I remember our accountant in Florida was like, Christina, I need to meet with you. And I was like, Ethan's there. Or I went to go sign my taxes when I knew he wouldn't be in the office. And
Mhm.
he freaking stayed because he knew I was going to do that to him. And he was like, Christina, I need to talk to you. And I was like, oh, Todd, we don't need to talk. That's why you're Ethan.
Yeah. Right.
And he's like, no, 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 we're going to talk. And
Mhm.
so then I made a pivotal choice when
Yeah.
we moved to Minnesota and said, I will communicate with the accountants. I will pick the accountant. I will figure this out.
Right.
And I did. And I learned like money isn't scary. And I'm smart and I know shit. And like now I go to meetings, I meet with our accountants, I meet with our financial planners.
Yeah.
When I was figuring out my dad's finances and like helping him with everything, like everybody sat there going, wow, wow. Like they were treated with respect because they knew I knew my shit.
Right, because you kept allowing yourself, you recognized what was uncomfortable.
Mhm.
You allowed yourself over a period of time to keep exposing yourself. It's like that muscle memory. The
Yeah.
more you allow yourself to stretch into the uncomfortable, you no longer can say, I can't, I won't be able to. You can't say that anymore because you've already started. So that's the thing I want people to remember with that beautiful story, that you can face something that's uncomfortable, but the more you do it, you gain the
Mhm.
muscle memory in your brain, the confidence, the courage, and the ability to say, yes, please. Like, I can
Yeah.
do this. So that's an
Yeah.
amazing challenge that I love that you're giving our
So
listeners.
that's my challenge to everybody is like, try it. You know what? You might
Mhm.
screw up the first time. You might screw up even up to the fifth time. But the more that you try it, the more comfortable you're going to get in it and the more you're going to grow. So, having the tough conversations, quit sticking your head in the sand, as I
Mhm.
tell people all the time, because all that happens is sand keeps getting poured more on your head and it's harder to get out.
And it's keeping you from your life. It's weighing you
It is.
down.
It
Absolutely.
is. It is. It's like ball and chains on your legs. Like,
Mhm.
have the conversation you need to have, do the work you need to do, make the choices you need to make for yourself, apply for the job that you've literally been looking at daily and didn't close in one of your tabs.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
fucking apply. Like, apply for it.
And
Do
then tell us how it went because we believe you could do
Yeah,
it.
and even if you didn't get hired for the job, like, you learned a lot about yourself and you gave yourself a brave commitment. Like, sometimes the goal isn't getting the job. Sometimes the goal is learning how to apply or interview or things like that.
It's just
So,
starting.
yeah, I know. So, that's our challenge to you.
That's your challenge. I love that. And you could turn into a daily practice. I mean, you can practice like what we're telling you is like really micro discomforts. Like maybe that would help you. Like if it's just a little discomfort every day, you could try a new routine that you've been avoiding. You can stay connected for feedback conversations.
Yeah.
So if you've been saying, I want to wake up a few minutes earlier and allow myself to like drink some water or go outside and just feel the fresh air, but you've been avoiding doing it because you're like, I don't know how that's going to go. Is it going to like mess up my whole day? Like whatever you've been thinking about, it's weighing you down. Just
Right.
try it.
Yeah.
It's just a small little piece and see how the impact is on your life. Christine always says to me, like, Helene, like you may ask people if they want to do some journaling or have some thinking. So you have that challenge that Christina gave to you and if you need some, like, if you are someone who likes to do some journaling or like to do some reflective things, you might ask yourself things like, where am I playing small because I'm afraid of discomfort?
Mhm.
And what did I learn the last time I stretched? So, those are two questions that you might be able to ask yourself. And I love the idea of stretching because it's also saying to yourself a different mantra. It's all about mindset.
Yeah.
I'm not uncomfortable, I'm expanding.
Absolutely. And I think when you take the word of discomfort or not good enough or all those negative voices out of it, all of a sudden the stomach and the headache and the pressure disappear and the excitement starts to pour in because when you can reframe it to say, I'm expanding, I'm growing, I'm stretching, new doors are going to open for me. That's exciting.
It is.
That's invigorating, right? Like you
Yes.
don't know what the future holds, but if you anticipate it with black glasses, it's going to freaking suck.
Mhm.
If you anticipate it with clear or, joyful glasses, then you're going to find the good and you're going to see it as positive growth. I mean,
Right.
the things that I have learned and the stretching and hey, the paralyzing discomfort, I'll be real, but the amazing things that have come out of starting therapy suites, the friendships that I've made, the cool people I've encountered, like it's freaking awesome. I love it. It's
I love it goes back to, like, what you and I say, if you can visualize what you want to do outside of that messy part of the discomfort and
mhm,
you're open to it, you oftentimes will find it.
100%. Yeah. And like for me with therapy suites, the greatest gift is watching people launch practices and be successful. Like, dude, that fills me up like no tomorrow. So fun. So, our challenge to you is reframe that discomfort into growing stretching. Think about this week, what do you need to talk about? What do you need to do? Do you need to do a new class? Do you need to learn something? Do you need to have a conversation? Do you need to apply for something? Do you need to do something different? Where is the door knocking that you keep turning your back on? That it's time that you open and see what's in there for you. Like, where is that gift? Go find it. That's our challenge to you, friends. So, happy birthday, friends. We hope this episode leaves you supported, empowered, ready to say hell yeah to discomfort, AKA growth,
Mm.
expansion. We're cheering you on because we believe in you and we know you can do it. One of the greatest gifts we can receive from you is a positive review wherever you listen and share this. Hang out with us on social. We're on all. And don't forget Monday's gifts from the couch that Helene is always really good at doing, and I'm not. We have surprises coming your way. If you haven't already checked it out, you have to check out our retreat that we have built just for you. And until next week, happy birthday.